All right, let's see some fucking evidence.
Do I have that redaction, or is that something you need
I'm
to give
so like
me?
to finally.
We're going to need to give
This
you
is
a
going to
hard
be a
copy.
picture of Johnny punching her.
Honor.
This is going to be it, guys.
And if
the bombshell we've been waiting for.
And if I can draw your attention to it.
All right, let's see it.
He first
Surely,
says,
this
I don't
has
want to
gotta
make
be
anything an
it.
issue, baby, but I literally have been on the ground just 14 fucking hours from leaving your side. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then he says, you know what I want, who I am, and where I want to go with us. You know very well what type of fucking man I am, and yet you lay a gauntlet before me that you know is the very species of danger that will always attract me into a very tempting test. What's behind that door? Almost impossible to not take you on. You want me to roll the dice? This sounds more like an aggravated ultimatum than soft words that could help us make both feel better. Don't test me, please. Did he tell you that?
Yes, he did.
And what did you understand that to mean?
So,
it was clear. It was a threat that if I wanted to be...
Objection, speculation.
exactly.
I think she can say what she understood it to mean.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay.
That's true.
right.
Good
Let's
judge.
move on
That's
then
right.
to
It's
the
obvious.
filming of Mordecai with Mr. Bettany.
Remove all
October,
context and
November
then create your own
2013.
agenda.
Where did that take
She
place?
should post on LSF.
In London.
Pizza party, thanks for
And
sending stuff.
what, if any, involvement did you have? Were you there for any part of that filming?
For part of it, I happened
What are her
to be
replies?
in London already for the film I was just telling you about. And Johnny came to
about
London shortly
worry
after to
about that.
film his own movies. He did the smaller, I think it was a smaller role in Into the Woods, and then he was filming Mordecai after that. So after I finished my movie, I moved in with him into his house in London, a rented house in London.
Okay. And describe your experiences during that time period with Mr. Depp.
It was really touch and go. He was filming with Paul Bettany, and there were days when he wouldn't come home, or they couldn't get him up out of on set. He'd be asleep in his trailer, sleeping whatever he'd done the night before off. I remember he missed a few days of work that way. It struck me because in my experience in our job, you don't miss work. It doesn't matter how sick you are. You go. You know, it's millions of dollars every single day they're filming, and,
What is this?
and I had not experienced
Is this
someone
on my end? Or
who
them?
could effectively just control the set like that. You know, I mean, to that extent. And one day he
It's
didn't
them? Okay.
come home, and I was worried sick.
I'll refresh
I
in
found
30
out that he was
seconds.
in a hotel room with Paul Bettany.
Objection, hearsay.
Okay. Move forward.
All right,
When
I'll
he
hit
came
the
home,
refresh
they
right
had to
here.
carry him home.
Give me a second.
Hearsay.
Did you see them
I
carry
watched
him?
it.
All right. Hopefully they'll fix it soon.
Go ahead. Okay, please continue.
I watched. Actually, I was shocked that he could do it. One of the security guards carried Johnny like a baby
Okay.
into the house, and I looked at that.
All right,
and
that's nice.
I mean, his boots were hanging over
Yeah,
the
that's a nice
security
guy.
guard's arm, who had to negotiate getting through the doorway, carrying Johnny like this. And I watched this, his assistants and the other security guards shaking their head, you know, just shaking their head, acknowledging this is how bad it is. And I remember thinking, this has got to be it. Like, this has got to
Okay, yeah, it's
change.
frozen.
This is it.
They'll fix it.
And he was
There we go.
understandably very, very sick for at least 2 days, is my recollection. And in that 2 days, I had a lot of conversations with this team. I won't say what they were,
I've seen this.
but I felt at that juncture very encouraged that everybody and myself were on the same page. And I felt encouraged that we were in a new chapter, that Johnny had finally hit rock bottom, and finally he felt like changing for good.
Surely.
I felt buoyed,
Surely this will be it.
supported by these conversations I was having with people that he was close to, that he trusted.
November 2013, did you have any contact with Lily Rose that led to any discussions with Mr. Depp?
Objection leading.
What, if any, communications did you have with Lily Rose in November 2013?
Objection calls your hearsay leading.
Isn't that his daughter?
I'm asking what her connection was. I didn't ask what she said.
What, if any?
Okay. November 2013, what, if any, interaction did you have with Lily Rose without saying anything she said?
Oh my God.
Objection hearsay.
It's interaction, Your Honor. I'm not asking for what she said.
If you can lay a foundation out.
Okay. Did there come a time in November 2013 that you saw Lily Rose?
Yes, they came to stay with us for some time in the winter. Yeah, around November, I believe,
okay.
2013.
When you said they, who are you referring to?
Johnny's kids, Jack and Lily Rose.
Looking at the
And was there a
at the
particular
jury
incident
to
that
say
led
the
to,
kids for emotional manipulation.
Disagreement with
Isn't
Mr.
that
Depp?
convenient?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
What, if any, interaction did you have with Lily Rose that led to an argument with Mr. Depp?
Objection leading.
That, what, if any?
We approach from
He's like, oh my God. I feel like the main thing that I'm curious about, more than like any of this other stuff, I'm curious what Johnny's doing. Because like you can't see it because the fucking camera, the monitor's in the way. But like what is he doing the whole time? Is he drawing? I mean, that's what it's gotta be. He's drawing dicks.
Did you have an argument with Mr. Depp relating to Lily Rose in November 2013?
Yes.
Can you please describe that?
Well, I was,
My pictures on Twitter.
you know, these kids were, I found them to be these beautiful,
Looking at the audience again,
wildly
talking to the
intelligent
kids.
little weirdos in the best way. You know, they were, I was falling in love with them. And,
That's nice.
you know, they were in my life at that time, a short amount of time, but I loved it, and I started to feel very protective, and you know, Johnny's sobriety meant that he was there and then he wasn't, and the nature of our lives with the travel and work meant he was there and then he wasn't. And Lily Rose,
Don't
at
conflate
some
the
point,
two. It's his
had
job.
a crush on a you know.
Objection hearsay. And lack of foundation.
What?
I'll overrule for them.
Thank you. Please continue.
This argument
What the
happened
fuck?
because Johnny was. I didn't agree that this gentleman, it was a famous musician over the age of 18, spent the night at the house, and I felt protective over Lily Rose and concerned. And naturally, they were not my children. It's not my place.
I heard that, yeah.
And I understand that. I know it's a
Uh-oh.
sensitive subject, so I understand why Johnny got so upset with me. But that and the introduction of the weed with his daughter, she was so young, I just felt protective. Again, it's not my place. I understand that. And I made him really angry by weighing in on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Did there come a time that there was a family engagement gathering?
Well,
I don't
we,
even know what happened. Like, what even happened?
Celebrated Thanksgiving out in.
I think she's
in
making
London.
it-
The kids were there.
She's making it like where
There
you
was
don't know
a-
what happened, so people can
a
assume
stint
that he
of
was giving her weed.
sobriety,
But that's probably not what
following
happened.
How sick he got on set with Paul Bettany after
Yeah.
one of his drug binges.
That's what I think it is.
And he kind of just came alive again. You know, he even like played a prank on me about having like relapsed when he hadn't relapsed. You know, it was I started to kind of feel that with the kids being around, I did think
Things were
that
good. Yeah.
maybe this was it. We were on a good path, meaning to sobriety, that this was it. And our life was peaceful for a minute. You know, it went back to being wonderful. There were these moments that just felt so wonderful.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
All right. I'll just sustain the objection.
Okay. Take us to
She
the
was telling a
engagement.
story.
There was an engagement party, correct?
Then, yes, come Christmas.
It's a
of
6X? Yeah, I know.
2013, Johnny had
been a whole lot.
rented this beautiful mansion in Malibu on the beach. It was gorgeous. And he brought my family out, and his family was out, obviously, in LA.
Wow.
And we stayed in this rented mansion, and we're all together for the holidays. And one evening, we were going to his mother's house. His mother, who you've heard about, was older and sick, but at home being cared for. And one evening we're going to have dinner, Christmas dinner there with her around the time of her birthday as well. And my best friend said, "You should."
Objection,
really...
hearsay.
Sorry.
Wasn't offered to prove the truth of the matter, but go ahead. Go past that. What did you do?
We went to Betty Sue's house, his mother's house, and Johnny proposed in front of our families in this big, surprise. He surprised me.
Damn.
Got down on one knee and I cried and hugged my mother and hugged his mother, and
It seems
he
nice.
gave me this enormous diamond ring, and
Yes, it's pretty nice for him to say that.
it was a nice time.
I'm going to take you into January, February 2014. You employed a woman named Kate James, is that correct?
Objection, leading.
What, if any, relationship did you have with Kate James?
She was my assistant at the time. I hired her sometime in 2012 and had as minimal contact with her as I possibly could. So,
And why is that?
she was difficult, troubled, and inconsistent. She drank on the job and stuff like that, and her behavior was pretty
Objection, relevance.
horrible.
She's already testified. Kate James has testified, and I think the bias, we can,
All right, I'll allow that. Go ahead.
thank you. Okay. Please describe for the jury what job responsibilities Kate
Haven't half
had
these
and how
stories
you
been about them being on
communicated
drugs?
with her and kind of
But she's the
how
problem.
that worked.
Objection, compound.
Overruled.
Thank you.
We had minimal person-to-person interaction because I was hardly ever in LA. If I was there for a few days at a time. And Johnny and I kind of lived in this insular bubble anyway when we were together. But we would send emails, texts, and a lot of voice memos, voice notes. And, if I found that if I said, "Kate, you left the car running with your doors open and your kids in the car on the street. You need to
Objection,
move it."
hearsay.
She's not testifying, she's testifying about context.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
All right.
Get it out of
Take
here.
a look at Defendant's Exhibit 209.
Man, it's just... I just don't imagine that's actually what happened. You know what
Your
I
Honor,
mean?
I'm going to object on
Just
hearsay
sounds like
grounds.
bullshit to me. Yeah, it's dramatic. Can you destroy it? I mean, she can't
still
even
hearsay.
talk enough to get destroyed.
May we
Ms. Hurd,
approach?
did you, may I lay the foundation first? Ms. Hurd, did you communicate with Kate James by email in the ordinary course of your business?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you to take a look at Defendant's 209. Is this a communication that was between you and Kate James that was in the ordinary course of business with her as an employee?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 209, business records exception.
Still hearsay, Your Honor.
Business record exception gets the business record, but it's hearsay. If there's hearsay involved inside the business record, there's still objection to hearsay.
Your Honor, the business records exception, I mean, I don't agree. I think that's the point, that hearsay can...
Was she bringing out the textbook? What is this? Like, oh my God. Like, what is this? Yeah, did somebody just tell a joke to Rich Campbell? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand. Like, why is this even a thing? Like, I'm curious. I want to see more of these text messages. That's what I really want to know. Is like, all this other stuff is like, yeah, this is what happened. Where are the fucking messages? Show me the receipts. And so I can get a picture of what's actually going on. Let's see the pictures. Let's see the receipts. Let's figure out. Because, like, I don't believe her. I'm like, oh, wow, I was on drugs, and this is my perfect recollection of what happened. Ah, okay. Yeah, let me write that down. Like, what the fuck do you think that we're going to do here? What do you think that we're going to believe here? No shot. Like, I think, like, really, like, one thing, it seems like Johnny Depp didn't really have to act a lot for Captain Jack Sparrow. That was pretty much just like, you just go on the set and you've got to wear this eyeliner and that's about it, you know? Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's been method acting for this character for years. You know, like, I mean, that's what it was. Not true. Yeah, exactly. He's getting in the character. And this is like also assuming any of this stuff actually happened, you know? Which is a big assumption. Okay.
What, if any, communications did you have with Kate James about your issues with Mr. Depp?
Objection hearsay.
Your Honor, Ms. James has testified.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right, we can take that down, Michelle.
Put that evidence in the garbage. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Like, nope.
In the February, I'm going to jump to February,
Damn.
March 2016.
That would have been
What,
a
if
big
any,
one for them, too.
communications did you have with Mr. Depp about a prenup?
Well, after the engagement, but before the engagement party, I started to feel like it would make...
He listened to the Kanye West song.
You know, I know that he earned significantly more than me. He's a successful actor.
Yeah, he listened to it.
I wanted to eliminate any doubt in his mind and in other people's minds. So I brought it up to him and brought it up to my therapist.
Objection hearsay.
She's just saying that she brought it up to her therapist. She's not saying what she said. But please focus on Mr. Depp,
Contextual,
okay?
it doesn't matter what she said. He's saying that she said it
Johnny
is what she
said
said.
he would tear it up. He said, if you ever brought one up to me, or if I ever saw one, got my hands on it,
That's what I
I'd tear
said.
it up.
Remember, that's what I
Only
said,
way out
too.
of this is death. Only way out of this is death. And I thought it would be like, I didn't care either way, but I did feel that it would eliminate suspicion or doubt, and it would make things easier. And I told him over and over again, you know, are you sure? Are you sure? Maybe we should do this. And one time he said to me, he's like, kid, are you already thinking of how you're getting out of this? Are you already planning to get out of this, kid? You already planning on leaving? It was around the same time as the moving in together conversation. He accused me of having 1 foot out. And they kind of were happening around the same time.
Was that
I
before
still
or after
had my
James
apartment,
Franco?
And we're engaged now.
Yeah.
He was asking me to redecorate
Good call,
his main
by the way.
house, and kind of move into the ECB building downtown where my best friend was living at this time. While the decorations and the remodeling had been done on Sweetser. And so these conversations were kind of happening about how to build our future together and how we were going to move forward together. And I would have forgotten about the extent that we had those conversations early on in the engagement if it hadn't have been for my therapist's notes.
I'm sorry, if it hadn't been for your what?
If it hadn't been for my therapist's notes, which were
Okay.
taken at the time when I was talking to her about this and my conversations with
Objection,
Johnny.
hearsay.
Okay.
I'll
We'll
sustain the
We'll
objection.
move on. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Let's take it to March
Uh-oh.
2014. Did there come a time there was an engagement party?
Yes, so it was March 2014.
Please describe for the jury.
We had an engagement party, and we decided that when we did get married, we'd have a small wedding, something intimate. But, our lives were kind of big. His life was extremely big. And we needed to incorporate, we wanted to have a bigger engagement party than a wedding, and kind of get our guests in, our family, our friends, and have a big
That's
event
nice.
of it, as opposed to making the wedding something that was big. And so we kind of put it on the engagement party and had a bunch of people, a lot of friends, business acquaintances, a lot of family. I had all of my family friends and my childhood friends come out for it, and I even invited my therapist. It was a big event.
Okay. And describe what took place at the engagement party.
We walk in together, and we took some pictures and said a few hellos, and then Johnny disappeared upstairs in, I guess it's like a coat room or something. It was in a big abandoned building that was rented out for
He's
events.
gone.
And he had disappeared upstairs almost the entire party, I would say. It was kind of came down at the end when we were leaving, and came down once because he was at the time sharing drugs with my dad.
Objection. Speculation. Lack of foundation.
That's what I've done this in parties before too. Yeah.
I was there. I watched it.
Please continue.
Yeah, like
My dad at the time was was addicted to the same thing Johnny was. And so my dad had, either my dad ran out or Johnny ran out. I can't recall which of the two ran out, but there was they needed more, of course, and had to leave the party. My dad actually left with Johnny's security to go get more drugs from
Objection
West
calls for
Hollywood.
speculation.
How do you know
what
that?
even was it?
They told me.
Hearsay.
Sustain the objection.
Okay.
And they left to go whatever, and then they came back with drugs, and everything was okay in terms of the withdrawal symptom of I don't know what you call it at that point, but he still stayed upstairs. And
Are
when
you referring to Mr. Depp?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Please
So
continue.
shortly after that, I tried to get Johnny to come downstairs, and he just snapped at me, just verbally told me to shut the fuck up. And I remember talking to my mom about the irony of it.
Okay.
We were at an engagement party, but that was pretty much it for the engagement party. And I went downstairs and entertained guests and smiled and took pictures and put on a face and went about my evening.
All right. I'm going to take you to May 2014, the Met Gala.
Okay.
Could you please tell the jury what a Met Gala is and what's involved in that?
That's like the Hunger
Objection
Games
compound.
for like the rich people, right?
Overruled.
Met Gala is a big event, annual event, celebrity event.
Yes.
In New York.
Yes.
It's
There
a
it
fashion
is.
event, but it's just a major red carpet event.
Hunger Games.
And you have to be invited, and it's kind of a thing.
It's a meth gal.
And we were invited that year. And I had already gone for the previous year or two, and this year we were going to go together. And at some point in the
I would never
evening,
want to go
we're
to one
sitting
of those.
across the table.
Fuck that.
And Johnny starts asking me about this woman. He thought I was looking at this woman in a sexual way, and I kind of turned it around on him and said that exact same
Objection
thing.
hearsay.
All right. It's context, Your Honor. This is
I'll
context.
sustain the objection.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
say
shut
what
up,
Mr. Depp
Amber.
said then. I guess you
Yeah,
can't tell
shut
us
up.
what you said to him.
Okay.
What's that? Like, I lost count. Is that 11?
He was accusing me of flirting, and that's how the argument started. I don't recall what other accusations I was fielding at that moment, but typically in my experience with him, it wasn't just one. So you'd make a point, and then he would go on to a different accusation. But I remember that what started it is this accusation that I had been flirting at this event. We get back to the hotel room, and Johnny shoves me and kind of grabs me by the collarbone area, like not
Jesus.
really my neck, but top of my neck.
That's bad.
Top of my, above my collarbone, below my
Wow.
I think at that point when we were still in the living room, I shoved him back, but I don't really recall too many specifics. I remember he threw a bottle at me. It missed me, but it broke the chandelier. And at some point, I remember maybe this was the shove that I was talking about, but at some point, Johnny and I are in a struggle in the living room, and he kind of like shoves me down on the sofa, and I get up and I'm trying to get him off of me, and it's just stronger than me. I don't know how else to describe it. And at some point, he just whacks me in the face. And
Damn.
I had not, at the time,
Wow.
I think that was the first time I was like, is this a broken nose? At the time, I was unsure what that feeling was, but I suspected I had a broken nose. And other than that, I was relatively unscathed.
Damn.
But I remember my nose being swollen, discolored, red.
What?
And
Let me see.
I took a picture of my face
Okay.
at some point and made a joke about it to my friend about how bad I looked compared
Where
to how
is it?
the red
Objection
carpet.
hearsay.
It was not for to prove the truth of the matter.
Where
I'll
is it?
sustain the objection.
Okay. Okay. Just don't say what you,
Huh?
what you told a friend. Okay. Okay. Let's take you to
What? Whoa. What about the? What
the
about the?
Adderall Diaries.
What about
When
the
did
picture?
you start filming the Adderall
What about the picture?
Diaries?
What?
Believe
But you just said you had the picture.
May
Where'd the picture go?
I filmed
Where'd
another
you put the picture?
movie in New York.
What?
March, April, May. I went straight from that movie to another movie, an independent film with
Hold up.
James Franco, the one I had previously with Christopher Walken. That's right. Okay, so I went from one to the other.
Okay.
And saw Johnny in these, in between, like if I got a long weekend or,
Yeah.
I'd fly home to be with him and then fly back. It was kind of like that.
Fly back from where? Where were you filming those?
In New York.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
And where was Mr. Depp at that time?
Johnny was in LA at the time and then eventually went on location for his movie, Black Mass, in Boston.
So you were in
Okay.
New York and Mr. Depp was in Boston at some point? in May?
Eventually, by May 2014. That's it.
All right. And what, if any,
is the
discussions or arguments did you have with Mr. Depp relating to James Franco in that time
Oh,
frame
here we
of
go.
May 2014?
It's a nightmare.
She's already mad. Okay, what did I say last time?
I wanted to do this independent film. I liked the story. I liked the character. I, told him I'm not going to wear makeup in the thing.
Objection, hearsay.
Uh-huh.
Apparently,
Ms. Beer, if you could approach, please.
God damn. How much longer till we hit the enraged timer? I think probably about 5 minutes after Johnny's lawyers start questioning her. Somewhere around there, like probably about 5 to 6 minutes after that. Maybe before, actually. Maybe like 3.5. Yeah, somewhere around there. It's like the James Franco thing. Yeah, it's just... Like, can you imagine if they somehow get Elon Musk and James Franco to come in here and testify? That would be, like, honestly, man... I feel like, imagine how fucking ridiculous that would be, man. Oh, at the cross, yeah. Like, I'm waiting for Elon Musk to just randomly tweet out, bro, I didn't sleep with her, she's crazy. And then, like, everybody, like, just tweet that shit out randomly out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, because you can imagine him doing that. Like, it would be so obvious. Yeah, it's great. Elon would do it? Yeah, I bet that's the thing. It's like, he would do it. It's the peak of entertainment. Yeah, I know. Elon won't testify? I mean, that's probably a good thing. Like, I wouldn't want to be fucking involved in this bullshit. Fuck this. I mean, if I was them, like, it'd be good content,
So,
but I wouldn't want to do
tell
this.
the jury
Fuck
what
this.
Mr. Depp said.
He was mad at me for taking the job with James Franco. He hated James Franco, and was
Elon,
already
don't stick your dick in
accusing
crazy.
me
God.
of kind of secretly having a
Imagine
thing
that.
with him in my past since we had done Pineapple Express together.
Okay. So I'm going to take you to the Boston plane incident. We've heard about that earlier, May 24.
Let's hear
Can
about
you please describe for the jury what took place on May 24 relating to the plane incident?
Well, I had spoken to Johnny, he's in Boston, I'm in New York, and I spoke to him. He had already been upset with me and accused me in like many arguments about not telling him about scenes that I had. If I had a kissing scene, any sort of romantic scene, and I wasn't explicit about what I was going to do, then I was accused of having withheld information and hiding it from him. So I didn't want the fight, of course. I didn't want the argument, but I had to kind of eggshell tiptoe around how to tell him when I had any sort of scene like that.
Yeah.
And I did tell him in this occasion.
Objection, hearsay.
We need to stay with what Mr. Depp said, okay?
Okay, so he was upset with me, but he didn't sound coherent so much on the phone. He was yelling at me about how could you tell me this? How could you tell me this when I'm filming, when I have this scene that I'm doing? How could you tell me this when I'm working? Obviously, I couldn't tell him any other time because we were both filming, and I told him as soon as it was relevant, but he kept saying, how could you tell me this? How could you just tell me this?
Yeah.
And it was like I had told him I was having an affair or something, it was that angry at me. But he kind of started to sound less connected to reality as these like arguments would happen on the phone. This is in one day. Eventually,
there's no text messages, okay.
He hangs up on me in the conversation.
All right, next.
Screaming at me.
That's crazy. Wow.
I talked to his assistants. I won't say what they said, but I had conversations and felt encouraged that I could continue on with the plan, which was for me to get on the plane, go to Boston, pick him up, and we would go back to LA for his daughter's birthday.
Uh-huh.
I was nervous because the conversation I had had with him, and he was so upset with me on that conversation, but I figured I assumed he had passed out and that he would have been kind of sobered up.
Yeah, I wouldn't give
next
a
day.
fuck anymore. Yeah, I
Assuming
get that.
the work would mean that he felt pressured to kind of pull it together. And I get on the plane. He sent the plane, so I assumed he's not that mad at me. He's over it. We're moving on. He's sobered up. There had been a lot of talk about a sober plan, like a full detox, a full recovery, a doctor, a whole plan.
Yeah.
You know, there were talks of that following what had happened in London. So I was feeling like, okay, well, maybe we're here.
We've heard
and
this
I get on
before.
the plane, it touches down, and the
Surely this is
SUV
it.
pulls up, and it sits on the tarmac for a very long time. He knows I'm on the plane waiting for him. So I kind of started to anticipate that things weren't as I hoped, meaning that he was sober and had slept it off. And I'm sitting on the plane for a very long time waiting for him, and he finally opens the door, and I see him get out of the SUV, and I can guess by how he's moving, how he's walking. I didn't realize at the time I had already become really sensitive.
Was he
to
playing
these little
Captain Jack
changes,
Sparrow?
because my life changed depending on what he was on.
Yeah.
And he gets on the plane, and I just knew in every cell of my body something was wrong. And
Okay.
he comes straight up to me, doesn't say anything to me, but is looking at me. He's got these glasses on, and he takes them off in this kind of aggressive manner and sits down across from me, not in the usual spot.
Yeah.
We kind of have our places on his plane, you know, where you get used to sitting. And I remember I got up and moved to accommodate him getting by so he could sit in the normal seat as per usual.
Yeah.
He didn't. He sat across from me.
So he sat
At
in a
some
different
point,
chair.
I don't really remember
Okay.
the exact sequence of it. We take off, and at some point he's asking me what's wrong with me. What do I have? Do I have something to tell him? Do I have something to tell him? You want to talk to me about your day yesterday? And then it gets, I already know that he's drunk. I already know he's using, he reeks of weed and alcohol. I mean, his breath smelled so bad, and I could, I could anticipate that there was a no-win situation here. There was no me talking myself out of this or talking him down or any.
Oh my God.
You know, a lot of my arguments and my involvement in them are me trying to diffuse by explaining or
Objection, non-responsive.
Telling the story. Your Honor,
I'll sustain an objection as part.
Wrap it up, Domi.
So he is asking me questions, and I know to not engage. I was polite. I made sure to answer minimal amount of, the minimal amount that I could.
Yeah.
I moved slowly. I
Yeah.
was trying to be polite, but not engage.
nice.
Because there was no win, and he kept going, kept asking me. Eventually he went from, do you have something to tell me, to, you want to tell me how much you liked it? Tell me, did he slip a tongue? It got worse and worse, just more. It went from asking me about how my kissing scene went or how the sex scene went, to asking me what James Franco had done in the scene, to being really explicit about
Go ahead.
my body. He was talking about he was saying really disgusting things about my body, about how I liked it, how I responded, and then he started just straight up taunting me. I know you liked it. He called me a go-getter. He called me a slut in front, and also this is happening with security and
What?
his assistants on the plane. And I remember I felt
Wow. All these people heard it.
I don't,
Where
I
are
don't-
they?
I struggle to be able to tell you how embarrassed I was, because he was speaking to me in front of people in this way, asking me if I liked it and if I was wet, and you know, why I wasn't looking at him, and that was proof I wasn't looking at him. That was proof that I was asking for. Did I ask James to do this and this to me? And how about if he does those things to me? Insert sexually explicit descriptions of what he accused me of wanting or deserving. And I, at some point in this, get up and move to the front of the plane. And I remember getting up so slowly. I didn't want to aggravate him. I didn't want to give him any excuse to pounce on. I didn't want to upset him. I didn't want him to flip a switch and get worse. I just remember very slow movements. And I slowly get up.
Yeah.
And move to the front of the plane, and he starts throwing things at me. Ice cubes, utensils.
Did he hit you?
He's calling me a go-getter, and then an embarrassment, talking about what an embarrassment I am. I don't know how many times I moved seats. I wish I did. I don't. I remember moving more than once.
Embarrassment
and
bothers
Johnny
her more
came
than all the other
to
ones
me
because she's a
each time,
narcissist.
not the other way around. He sits down in front of me at one point.
This is the same thing that made her cry whenever she brought up the story with the yacht.
Because I'm not answering him. I was looking out of the window, and he slaps my face.
Remember that?
And his friend is in our proximity. And it didn't hurt my face. It just felt embarrassed. Did he do that to me in front of people? It was the first time that anything like that had happened in front of somebody.
Let's hear it.
I got up.
Where are
to
they?
Move again, and he's just taunting me, having a laugh, screaming.
Where are they?
And then just straight up mean, calling me names. And it was oscillating between these
Everybody was
things.
there.
And
Everybody
I get up
saw this.
slowly again, and I
But
just
nobody's here.
resolved to just sit the rest of the time up at the front of the plane. And as I get up, he kind of kicks the swivel chair into my hip, kind of just hits me.
Yeah.
And I look at him, and he asks me, What are you going to do about it? I just stared at him. I just stared
Yeah.
at him and wanted him to see me. I wanted to get through to him. Didn't feel there was it felt like there was a blackness in his eyes. I wanted to look at him. I wanted him to see me. It didn't even feel like him. And as I'm walking away, slowly, trying not to be, I was being very deliberate about my movements, wasn't saying anything, I wasn't engaging. I am walking away from him slowly, and he tells me to hurry the fuck up. Hurry up. And I just look at him one more time, wanting to penetrate the monster to see the man that I love underneath that. The man I loved. And he tells me to hurry up again. And I pull my gaze away from him. I walk away from him. My back is turned to him, and I feel this boot in my back. He just kicked me in the back. I fell to the floor. I caught myself on the floor, and I just felt like I was looking at the
Damn.
floor of the plane felt like a long time.
So he kicked you on the floor.
I thought to myself,
Where's anybody else that said this happened?
I can't believe he just kick me? No one said anything. No one did anything. It was like you could hear a pin drop on that plane. You could feel the tension, but no one did anything. And I just remember feeling so embarrassed. I felt so embarrassed that he could kick me to the ground in front of people. And more embarrassing, I didn't know what to do about it. I got up and I walked to the front of the plane. I sat down. And I
Embarrassed
just
again?
Looked
Yep.
out of the window. And Jerry Judge's security and my friend
Yeah, right. Yeah,
both
yeah.
kind of under their breath asked me, "Are you okay?"
Objection,
And
hearsay.
I spent the rest of the time looking out of
I'll
the
sustain the
window.
objection.
And
Yeah.
Did there come a time that you tape recorded Mr. Depp on this plane?
Thank God. Okay, here we go. She wouldn't ask the question if the answer wasn't yes.
I want to sit here and say that I was telling myself I needed to leave him,
Yeah.
but as he got worse, he
Yeah.
demanded the oxygen tank from the flight attendant. Excuse me. And he continued to drink and then eventually started howling like an animal and passed out in the bathroom with the door locked.
Like, do you really do that?
And was howling, and I at some point pushed record on my phone because there was that 5% part of me.
Yeah.
Objection non-responsive.
I don't think it's non-responsive. She's explaining what led up to her tape recording him and why. I mean, I can ask her,
Okay.
will that solve it?
All right.
Why did you tape record him?
Because I knew that Johnny wouldn't remember what he had done. I knew he would not remember. And if
Calls for speculation.
She can say why she did it and what she thought.
Okay, yeah.
that
Let's
last
get
part
to the
was
video.
speculation.
Don't say I knew.
Where's the video?
Why did you tape record?
in my experience, when Johnny was that inebriated,
Yeah.
he would not remember what he had done.
Calls for speculation.
How can that call for speculation?
I'll sustain the objection.
Yeah.
All right,
True.
let's go to defendants 221. And I'm going to play 3 different parts for it.
Okay.
Your Honor, may we approach, please? Okay.
Here we go. All right, let's see all right, finally, we're going to get, oh my God. Finally, we're going to get an actual video. Gentlemen, are you ready for the actual content? I am amazed. Okay. I love how he's just laughing and smiling about it. Like, that's the funniest fucking thing to me about this whole thing, is like, he's just like, they're chilling, like, nobody on that side is even stressed out at all. They're just, whatever, it's gonna be, it is what it is, right? Is it cold in Texas? It's cold in my room, and that's a good thing. I like whenever it's cold. You get your hoodie on, you feel cozy. We're gonna see it for the first time. All right, boys, let's go. Nice sweater, thank you, I appreciate it. He howled and he was drunk, it must be assault. Well, here's what we're going to see, right? Is we're going to see probably, I could expect to see maybe him acting like an animal on the plane. I could see that. And that's obviously bad, right? That's why, I think drugs and getting drunk and shit like that's not a good thing. That's why I don't do it, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. But at the same time, that doesn't mean he hit you. Those are two very different things. Oh, well, he's drunk howling around. Yeah? Well, where's the bruise? Or she said she fell to the ground. That would probably bruise your hands, your knees, your elbows. He kicked you in the back and she fell down again. She just fallen down twice or something like that. Where is it? Broke her nose.
So
Where's
we're
her?
going to start with 221, and we're going to call it A, and that'll be 0 through 1 minute.
All right, here we go. Let's see it. Certain states consider verbal abuse bad. Well, it is bad. Verbal abuse is obviously not good, but I would say that it depends on what you're saying and what the context is behind it. It's audio only. Yeah, okay, so it's audio only, so we don't really know. So there's no videos, so you don't really know what's happening. Oh, so you have to go basically by the dialogue. Where's the witnesses? Yeah, there's apparently flight attendants, friends, people here, and none of them are here to testify about the story. Like, I don't understand this. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's just verbal abuse versus physical abuse? Yeah, yeah.
The first one with 0 to 1 minute. And can you turn up the volume just...
Okay, here
I
we
mean,
go.
There's part of it that the noise of the airplane is a little bit loud, but to be able to pick up the noise. Keep an eye on it.
That's howling? Imagine being on an airplane like that. Like, whenever you hear howling, I'm thinking of like a werewolf. Any person I've ever heard that acts like that couldn't kick somebody.
And then the second one is from 2:50 to 3:20, 30 seconds.
Like, yeah, he couldn't kick somebody. Like, you are wasted, man. Oh, here we go. Wow. He did that to you, Amber? I can't believe this. Wow. Don't we have 3? Isn't there 3?
221 is in evidence. All of 221 is already in evidence.
So may I play the third one then, and then we
Yes.
can take the break?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
All right,
you.
let's
That would
go.
be at
You can play
9.
all of it if you'd like.
Like the howling, I'm like, woo!
I think I'll torture the jury if I do that, Your Honor. 9:30
That's what I was
to
thinking.
10, just 30 seconds more.
Okay, here we go. I don't hear what the fuck he's saying. Yeah, I can't hear shit.
All right. And you can be changing gears.
Well, I
after that,
rest
or do
my
you have more
case.
questions for this issue?
No, I think this would be fine
Okay.
for a break.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our morning break then. Just do not do any outside research and don't discuss the case with anybody.
Wow. What an event. What a situation. What was that? So basically, that was Johnny brutally abusing Amber Heard. I know it might not have sounded like that, but if you listen very closely, you can hear him kicking her and punching her. But you have to listen to it with the sound off and hear it in your own head in order to fully be able to be on the same
Again,
level
since you're
as
still
she
testifying,
is.
Don't discuss your testimony with anybody at this point, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so let's just come back let's make it 11:42. All right, 11:42.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I feel like this is bullshit.